Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make a 3/4 sleeve Raglan tech flat in Illustrator. Efficiency is the key on this one, and we're going to try and make this flat as easily as possible. We're going to use some tools that you learned in my last video, and if you haven't already checked out the tech flats video for beginners, do that now. I'm going to say direct selection a lot, and that's the hotkey A. And then when I say select, that's the hotkey V. Remember, the direct selection selects anchor points, and the selection tool selects entire objects. Download this picture and we'll import it into your new project. Create it and make it 2000 by 2000 pixels, 2 artboards, and set the resolution to 150. File, place that picture for reference over here on the side. Okay, lock this layer and create a new layer. Click off with the selection tool and make sure nothing's selected. And then we're gonna change the color to hot pink for the fill, and the stroke's gonna be set to 9. Okay, now grab the rectangle tool, click once on the artboard, and we're gonna set the parameters to 1200 pixels wide by 1800 tall. The direct selection tool, A, to drag across these anchors on top. And then come over here and find the scale tool. This is a new tool for us. And with these two selected, click and drag toward one another. Select these little circles here on the top right next to the anchors and pull them all the way straight down, and that will curve the very top of this shape. Now select these two anchors here and drag them down while holding shift to stretch it out a bit. Grab the curvature tool, drag down the hem into an arc. And this is going to be a rolled hem with a surged edge. Select the edge with the direct selection tool, then grab the pen tool here, and it turns into a plus sign, and that adds an anchor point. And you're going to add 2 anchor points here and here, and then again here and here. Now grab the curvature tool again and pull out the middle and just move it a tiny bit. This is going to create a ripple in the fabric or a fold. Okay, now you have a little bit of curve and a bump for the fabric wrinkle, and that's really the basic shape for the raglan. I'm going to lock that layer. Let's make a new layer, drag it underneath, and this is going to be for the sleeves. And let's label it. Make sure nothing is selected. Grab your rectangle tool and let's choose a new fill color. Any color will do. Select both of these anchor points with the direct selection tool. You're going to click and drag across them again. Then you're going to grab the scale tool again and move these closer together. Grab the pen tool, and we're going to add an anchor point there. And then I'm going to make an anchor point here and here, and then here and here. Okay, direct selection tool. Select this one, and then shift select that one and move them, holding the shift key to keep them in place. And then drag this little circle to round out the corners. Let's make a few more adjustments with the direct selection tool. Unlock both of these layers, grab everything, and then make it a little bit smaller holding shift. Okay, now we need to cut this back area out here. Grab the ellipse tool, pull from the center here, and as you start to pull, hold down the Alt Option key and then the Shift key. And this will pull a circle, perfect circle from the center. And you want the edge of this shape where it touches the shoulder here. And you don't need much cutting out the shoulder, just a little bit. And the reason is that if you can imagine this curve going off into the middle of the collar here, that's what we're after. And then I'm going to select everything, and again, make sure all your layers are unlocked. Grab Shape Builder tool, Alt Option key, and drag across. Now lock these 2 layers and make another one. Drag it to the top, And this layer is going to be called collar. Grab the ellipse tool, start dragging from the center, hold down Alt-Option, and try and match the curve you just made. Selection tool and move it up, making the adjustments to the height and the width. And with it selected, find the opacity slider up here and lower it temporarily. Now you can get in close and really manipulate this to be about the same. And then bring the opacity back to 100. Select the outline with the direct selection tool. Go to Object, Offset Path, and we're going to choose -60 for the value. Okay, grab the line tool over here, and you'll remember this from our Tech Flats video. Click and drag across the shoulders here and here. Selection tool, select all of these shapes. Easiest way is to make sure all of your other layers are locked, and then you can click and drag across them. Grab Shape Builder tool, Alt-Option, click and drag across, and do that for all these little extra bits. Move the collar, deselect it, move it again, and then delete these little extra sneaky lines over here. And you can move it back into position. Now grab the line tool again. Cut across the whole shape here, and grab the curvature tool and pull it down to match. The direct selection tool again, and grab the anchors to adjust it. Okay, with that line selected, go to Windows, open Stroke, and we're going to choose Dashed Line. And we're going to set a 2-point dash length, that's how long the dashes are, and a 10-point gap, that's the space in between, and try around 40 points here for the height. This little gap on the top and the bottom is what we're after. Okay, let's make a hemline for the bottom here. Lock up the collar layer, and then unlock the base layer pattern. Select it with the selection tool, and let's change the color to white. Grab the line tool, drag a line across right at the bottom here. Grab the curvature tool and pull it down to match the hem. Select out here in the scratch area with the selection tool to make sure nothing is selected, and then we're going to go grab the line tool again and pull up 2 lines right here. Just like that. If they're thicker than this, you can select them both and change the stroke to a 2-point stroke. Okay, we're going to select both of these and make sure nothing else is selected. Go to Window, Brushes, and make a new brush. Choose Scatter, and then we'll title it Surged. Okay, let's change the relative rotation to the path, change the color mode to Tint and Shades. Now with these selected, you can delete them because you have them up here in the brushes palette. Direct selection tool and select that line we made. Click on the brush and it applies that stitch to the path. And now we can customize it. Double click this little window again. And now we're going to change with preview turned on. And we're going to change the size and the spacing, and we shrink that down quite a bit and we lower the spacing. It'll start to look like a surged stitch. We hit OK, and yes, when it asks to apply the stroke, you say of course. Okay, lock this layer and go to the sleeves and unlock it, and we're going to customize these now. So drag this sleeves path down to the plus sign and it's going to make a copy. And we're going to lock the bottom one. Grab the curvature tool over here, and we're going to adjust the top of the sleeve end. And we're going to bring it up like this. Lock that layer, and unlock the bottom now. And pull this one down. Do this on both sides. Okay, now unlock both shapes and grab a new tool. This one's called the width tool. Okay, make the line on top a little bit wider by clicking and dragging out. And we can also do this on the collar piece if we want. Now let's use that skill to add these little wrinkle lines to the shirt. These are the little bits that can make your design a lot more appealing. Unlock that base layer and grab your pen tool. You're going to click once in the center here and then click and drag again, drawing toward the outward edge. Selection tool, click away, and then here tap P to bring the pen tool back up. Make another path over here, and you want to always click selection tool, click out on something else, back on your pen tool. Okay, with the selection tool, you can shift select all of them. Go up here, we're going to turn off fill, and we're going to set the stroke size to somewhere between 9 and 12. And then let's zoom in real close here. We're going to use the width tool. Get in real close, and we're going to click and pull from the very edge, and you have to be right along the edge to do this. And you can see if we do this on all of them, and then we zoom out, we have a little bit of character for our design. It looks a little bit lifelike. It's not a lot, but it's enough to make it look like fabric. Okay, unlock the reference layer here, and we're going to trash it. We don't need it anymore. And let's make the front of this. Select all of these layers and then drag them down to the plus sign. And then select all of the new copies up here, holding shift. Grab the selection tool over here, and we're going to click and drag them over to the other artboard. And now you've made copies. Make a new layer. Drag it all the way to the top. This is going to be the front collar. Grab the ellipse tool and pull out an ellipse holding the Alt and Option key. That's about the same width as our design. We'll select it here and make sure it's a 9-point stroke. And you can give it that blue fill. And we'll move it back over top. And again, lower the opacity just temporarily. We'll get it so the edges connect on the right and left side of the collar here. And once they do, select it, change the opacity back to 100. Now use the direct selection tool. Select the outer edge here. Object, offset, path, and then choose, for this one, -70. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, make sure all of our other layers are locked. Selection tool. I'm going to select all of them. Then Shape Builder tool again. Alt Option, click and drag across. And let's move it, deselect it, select it again, move it again. Just get rid of these little extra bits. Okay, then direct selection tool to make any kind of minor changes here. I just need to move these corners around. Now the line tool, click and drag across this again. Grab the curvature tool, click and pull down. Then direct select the line and go to window and open stroke again. I'm going to change this to a dashed line. And there we go. I think that looks okay. It saved our settings from last time. Okay, now you've made your first Raglan tech flat. Awesome. Go to File, Export, and we're going to export as. Make sure Use Artboards is checked on. Set it to transparent and hit OK. Boom, great job.